Well, good morning. See what we got today. Been having some issues with the refrigerator. Nothing major on this thing. But every now and again it just, the bottom, the fridge part doesn't cool terribly well. Freezer always seems to be pretty good. But mainly when it's on shore power. Usually I flip it over to gas and it's fine. And sometimes the door light doesn't work, not the door light, but the interior, the little blue light in the refrigerator doesn't work. And I never really thought much about it. So today I figured, well, it's a nice day. So I plugged it in, or I fired it back up last night on shore power. I'd let it thaw out. And I got out this morning and everything was pretty good. It's nice and cold. I'm like, all right, well, something's flaky. So I came out here and figured I'd pull it off. I hadn't looked into the top yet. You know, that's kind of interesting. They got the fans and some other stuff up there, cheesy fans. I found a spot above the top of it that had a big gap, so I put a piece of foam in there to close that up. Try to insulate that a little better to the inside of the coach. But I was just kind of fiddling around down here, and I started pulling on, just touching the wires, making sure everything was connected properly. And the first thing I found is this red wire here, which is supposed to go here, pulled right out. It was not even remotely tight. So, okay, well, maybe that's my issue. So I tried to put it back in and I couldn't get to it. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it to tighten up. So I put a mirror on it. I looked behind there and it looked funny. Something didn't look right with the connector. So I was going to pull it off and take a look at it, a better look. And so I did. I pulled the bolt out. Look at this ground connection. I'm thinking that could be part of my issue. It's certainly not helping. There don't seem to be any broken wires, just you know, bad connections. So I'm going to figure out how all this stuff's supposed to go back together, tighten it all back up, and then we're going to see whether it's going to work. Alright, well, got that thing tightened back up. It went in properly, so I'm thinking all they did was just not quite tighten that thing enough. But it's snugged in there good and put back. I'm still trying to get this ground to work. It's a 7mm, which, or 9/32. I don't have a 9/32, so 7 seems to work. It's just a Phillips head screw stuck up through here with a nut on the bottom and a nut on the top. And it's all tight, but it certainly hasn't taken up any of the slack. So I'm going to go get my famous right angle Phillips, if I can find it. Try to get up under there and hold it so I can pull that whole thing apart, clean it, and see what the heck's going on here. So I wasn't able to find my world famous 90-degree Phillips, but I improvised. Got a bit out of my screw gun. That's a 1/4-inch drive duct taped into a 1/4-inch wrench. So that's going to work. So I'm going to pull that apart and see what we can find out. As you can see, all it is, it's a Phillips head screw stuck through. There is actually a little star washer underneath on the head side of the screw. And then it's just got one nut holding it there to make a stud out of it. Then all this, the 4 grounds are clipped on it, and then I think it might be a little elastic stop nut. It sure is. That's a little elastic stop nut that's put on that thing to hold everything in. But it certainly wasn't snug down enough. So I pulled it apart, cranked down that first nut because it wasn't terribly well held in. And then I used since it's kind of cruddy in here, I got a little crocus cloth and cleaned everything up. Scuffed it clean as I could. So now I'm going to stick all this back together, crank that nut down, and hopefully we have a functional refrigerator. In any case, that's about what it should look like when it's really snugged down. You see how much is sticking out of the top of that thing? I don't recall, but I can check the tape. There was nowhere near that much coming out, I don't think, before. So she is snug. I also went around and got a ground over there and some other wiring, and I found that this thing here wasn't put together well, so I fixed it. A few little doodads here and there, but cranked on this one a little bit too. That one was real snug. This is the only one that I found, and then that little red wire on this 12 volt positive side of whatever this is. Yeah, it looks like that's the 12 volt source for the fridge, because that's coming from under there. So that's probably a big deal. Well, like I said, I don't know. We will see. Hopefully it works. If not, I'll be back at it. But y'all take care.